We are trained, almost from the moment we can recognize a symbol of success, to equate power with accumulation. We look at the man who has built an empire, the man surrounded by loyal associates, the man anchored by a family, a mortgage, and deep roots in his community, and we declare him formidable. We believe his strength lies in the very weight of his attachments, in the complexity of the structure he has constructed around himself. This man appears safe, reliable, and deeply entrenched, seemingly immune to sudden collapse because he has so many foundations. He is the image of modern stability, a portrait of success that is, according to Niccolò Machiavelli, the perfect blueprint for a strategic liability. The things we believe make a man strong are precisely the things that make him controllable, predictable, and ultimately vulnerable to those who operate outside the established system. Machiavelli understood that attachment is not strength, it is leverage. Every relationship, every financial obligation, every ambition tied to external approval forms a filament connecting the man to the world. And these filaments, though seeming harmless, are actually tripwires, easy for a clever enemy to use to yank the man off balance. The truly formidable man, the truly dangerous man, is the one who has systematically and ruthlessly cut these filaments. He is the unattached man, and his power stems from his absolute immunity to coercion. Before we delve into the terrifying freedom this detachment grants, I want to know where this pursuit of strategic insight is finding you today. Tell me the name of the city, the very ground you stand on as you take in this ancient wisdom. It affirms our shared commitment to understanding the hidden mechanics of power, regardless of location. We must first establish the nature of the chains that bind the average man, the ones the detached man rejects. These chains fall into three distinct categories, each acting as an anchor that prevents true strategic maneuverability. First, there are the emotional and domestic attachments, the love for a spouse, the future of children, the well-being of aging parents. These are the softest targets, the most painful pressure points. The enemy does not need to harm the man directly if they can threaten what he cherishes most. A man anchored by domestic happiness is a man who cannot take the necessary risks, the career-ending risk, the financially devastating risk, the socially ostracizing risk that ultimate power often demands. His decisions are always filtered through the lens of protection. How will this affect my family? This single question introduces hesitation, compromises strategy, and creates blind spots. The attached man always has a price, a point of retreat, a line he will not cross. His life is predicated on ensuring his ship remains afloat, even if it means slowing down or altering course away from the greatest prize. Second, there are the material and institutional attachments. This is the comfort of the routine, the security of the high-paying job, the pride in the magnificent house, the reliance on a specific network or title. These attachments breed complacency and fear of loss. Machiavelli teaches that fortune favors the bold, the swift, and the violent. But the materially attached man is neither swift nor violent. He is cautious. He cannot afford to lose everything, because losing everything means losing the identity and stability he has spent decades constructing. He is bound by his possessions. He is a prisoner of his own success. The fear of financial ruin or social demotion paralyzes his aggressive instinct. He becomes defensively focused, dedicated more to maintaining the status quo than to conquering new territory. The system has leveraged his comfort against his ambition. Third, and perhaps most subtly insidious, is the reputational attachment, the need for validation, approval, or inclusion. Most men spend their lives desperately trying to fit into a mold, seeking the acceptance of their peers, their superiors, or the general public. This need for external approval turns every strategic decision into a popularity contest. The attached man cannot operate in the shadows, cannot commit the necessary if ruthless actions required for ultimate success, because he fears the judgment of the crowd. He is concerned with legacy, with honor, with being perceived as good. This need for social camouflage makes him predictable. He will always choose the path that garners the most favorable immediate reaction, even if it is the strategically weakest choice in the long run. The unattached man, by contrast, has consciously eliminated these vulnerabilities. His unattachment is not mere loneliness, but a calculated structural purity. He has streamlined his existence to serve a singular objective, the acquisition and retention of power, or the achievement of a specific transcendent goal. He does not fear financial ruin because he views material wealth as a temporary tool, not a defining characteristic. He is indifferent to public opinion, understanding that popular approval is fleeting and strategically irrelevant. Most critically, he has ensured he has no emotional hostages, no Achilles heel that an enemy can press. This absence of emotional constraint is what truly makes him a dangerous historical actor. Where others hesitate, he acts. Where others calculate the personal cost, he calculates only the strategic dividend. Machiavelli writes that a ruler must always be prepared for war and constantly consider what actions are necessary to secure his position. The unattached man lives this philosophy. Every movement, every word, every silence is calibrated purely for strategic gain, devoid of the sentimental noise that clutters the minds of others. The strategic advantage of this detachment is absolute unpredictability. The attached man is a simple algorithm. Protect the nest, protect the funds, protect the reputation. His reaction to any threat can be mapped and counteracted, but the unattached man is chaos personified. Because he has nothing to lose, his behavior defies conventional logic. If you threaten his reputation, he laughs, because he has already discarded it. If you threaten his wealth, he smiles, because he understands that the freedom gained by being broke and unburdened is often worth more than the complexity of being rich and controlled. If you threaten his physical safety, he does not flinch, because his commitment to his purpose transcends his commitment to his biological continuity. He is a ghost that cannot be grasped, a pure intellect focused solely on execution. Consider the negotiation. Most negotiations are won before they start, dictated by who needs the outcome less. The attached man always needs the outcome. To maintain his lifestyle, to please his stakeholders, to keep the peace at home. His needs are his opponent's greatest weapon. The unattached man, however, sits at the table with genuine indifference. He is prepared to walk away and burn the entire bridge behind him if the terms are not favorable. This willingness to accept zero outcome, to tolerate complete destruction, grants him immense gravitational pull in any interaction. His strategic position is inherently stronger because his opponent knows they cannot threaten him with loss. He has already priced in the loss. This strategic indifference allows the detached man to cultivate a terrifying patience. In the pursuit of power, often the greatest moves require waiting for years, decades even, until the exact confluence of fortune and opportunity arrives. The attached man cannot wait. The pressures of providing, the weight of responsibility, the ticking clock of personal obligations force him into premature action or unwise compromise. He must rush the harvest. The detached man, observing the field, is perfectly content to wait for a decade until his adversary is weak, until the moment of maximum strategic advantage is guaranteed. He is a predator in winter, conserving energy, observing patterns, knowing that the structural weaknesses of the attached men will eventually manifest catastrophic failure. His freedom allows him to be completely amoral in his strategic choices. The concept of doing the right thing is irrelevant to the unattached man. There is only the effective thing. Since he is not accountable to a societal image, he can execute the necessary severities that power demands. The abrupt cut of an alliance, the calculated betrayal, the public humiliation of a rival, without feeling the constraints of guilt or the burden of popular disapproval. The average man, paralyzed by empathy or reputation, pulls his punch. The detached man delivers the full blow, knowing that only clean, decisive action yields lasting results. We often mistake visible power, the aggressive posturing, the overt display of resources, for true strength. But Machiavelli insists that true strength is quiet, hidden, and flexible. The unattached man possesses this quiet strength. His power is not something he wears. It is something he is. His lack of constraint becomes a weapon. He moves through the world like Mercury, fluid, hard to pin down, leaving no trail of vulnerability for others to follow. When he enters an arena, whether it is political, corporate, or social, he is not measured by the same yardstick as others. He is not judged by his past successes or failures, only by the immediate calculated impact of his current maneuver. The foundation of the unattached man's danger lies in his supreme self-reliance. He has intentionally removed all external dependencies, becoming a closed loop of competence and objective execution. This self-reliance means he cannot be blackmailed with financial ruin because he has minimized his needs. He cannot be leveraged with political maneuvering because his ultimate allegiance is only to his own long-term objectives. He cannot be swayed by appeals to his better nature because he has prioritized strategic victory over sentimental comfort. This structural freedom defines his very essence as a dangerous actor in the game of power. He is not merely a player, he is an anomaly, a variable the system cannot account for, because he has nothing to lose and everything to gain. This deep strategic detachment provides a profound psychological advantage. When a man is truly unattached, his communication is stripped of hidden agenda. Negotiation becomes purely transactional, and confrontation is swift and lethal. He doesn't waste energy worrying about fallout, damage control, or maintaining appearances. All his intellectual energy is dedicated to the problem at hand, making his focus razor-sharp and his execution frighteningly efficient. He moves with a confidence that isn't manufactured. It's earned through the deliberate burning of all his bridges, leaving him only one path: forward. This radical self-reliance creates a vacuum around him, a strategic space where he alone dictates the rules. While the attached man is constantly managing alliances, mediating disputes and serving multiple masters, his family, his board, his community, the unattached man serves only the strategy. This simplicity of purpose grants him the clarity of vision that others, mired in complexity, simply cannot achieve. His decisions may appear ruthless, even incomprehensible, to those still constrained by sentiment, but they are internally coherent and strategically flawless within the detached framework he has established. This foundation of strategic independence is what elevates the unattached man beyond mere competence and transforms him into a historical force. He is the man who can endure the long night, weather the public scorn, and survive the financial collapse, all while keeping his eye fixed on the distant prize. He cannot be stopped by conventional means because he has rejected the conventions. He is the wolf who operates outside the fence, observing the highly predictable movements of the sheep. You recognize the profound shift required to embrace this kind of strategic existence, an existence defined by supreme freedom. Affirm your understanding of this Machiavellian truth right now. You must drop a line in the comments that encapsulates the single, most powerful phrase for maintaining ultimate strategic freedom. Make it a rule to live by, a mantra of detachment, demonstrating your commitment to this deeper understanding of power. This wisdom is too valuable to keep to yourself. Ensure this exploration of true strategic strength reaches everyone who needs it. Hit that like button and subscribe, joining the dedicated few who are willing to face the raw, unvarnished realities of human nature. Next time, we look at the exact mechanism by which this foundational detachment translates into irresistible offensive power. We will analyze the strategies of calculated loneliness and the terrifying historical trajectory of the man who discovers the world can no longer hold him hostage. You cannot afford to miss the terrifying calculus of ultimate self-interest. The loud man, the aggressive man, the one who demands attention. We've already dissected him. We saw how his performance of strength is nothing more than a neon sign advertising his deepest insecurities. He burns brightly, but he burns quickly, consuming his own resources in a frantic attempt to control perceptions. Niccolò Machiavelli would not call this man powerful. He would call him predictable. And in the game of power, predictability is vulnerability. But there exists a different archetype, one who understands that true influence is not seized, but accrued in silence. This man does not need to be loud because he is not trying to convince you of his strength. He is simply strong, and he is characterized by one defining, chilling attribute: detachment. He is the unattached man, and it is precisely this lack of emotional tether, this strategic isolation from dependence, that transforms him from a mere observer into the most genuinely dangerous player on the board. If you are listening to this right now, chances are you recognize the difference between the poser and the predator. We are tracking this strategic mastery together. We want to know where this pursuit of understanding is happening. Tell us right now, what city are you listening from? Let that knowledge anchor this discussion, because the principles of power, born in 16th century Florence, apply to every single street corner and every single corporate boardroom in the modern world. Machiavelli understood that the first thing a prince must secure is his own autonomy. A man who is entangled, a man who is attached, is a man who can be controlled. His loyalties are not levers, they are chains. When we speak of the unattached man becoming dangerous, we are not speaking of the lonely individual who cannot form relationships. That man is merely miserable. We are speaking of the strategically unattached individual, the one who holds the world at arm's length not out of malice but out of necessity, recognizing that every profound attachment represents a potential point of failure that an enemy can exploit. Think about the classic leverage points in any conflict, whether it's a negotiation, a political struggle, or a bitter divorce. They are always emotional. You target the opponent's family, their reputation, their need for affection, their debt to a past favor, their fear of public shame. These are the pressure points that break even the strongest individuals. But the unattached man has strategically insulated himself from these standard vectors of attack. He has built a fortress not of stone, but of indifference. He is dangerous because the conventional weapons of manipulation simply slide off his armor. What happens when a person's identity is not defined by their social roles, not a husband, a son, a devoted employee, or a pillar of the community, but purely by their internal mandate? They become liberated from the politics of approval. The majority of men live their lives bound by the expectations of others, chasing validation in the eyes of their peers, their superiors, or the woman they are trying to impress. This need for approval is a constant tax on decision-making. It forces men to choose the popular path over the effective path, the comfortable path over the ruthless path. The tough guy acts tough because he needs you to believe he is strong. The unattached man simply does what is necessary because he does not need your permission or your applause. This strategic detachment gives him access to the rarest currency in the realm of human interaction: indifference. When you desperately need a specific outcome, the job, the girl, the contract, the acceptance, you have already conceded power. Your need translates into anxiety, which translates into poor negotiation, haste, and ultimately, compromise against your own interests. But the unattached man operates from a position of absolute non-necessity. If the deal fails, he moves on. If the relationship ends, he remains stable. If the consensus rejects him, he continues his work unperturbed. This calculated indifference is profoundly unsettling to others. They cannot understand a man who is not striving to conform, who is not seeking their resources, and who is not fearful of their rejection. This absence of need flips the dynamic. Suddenly, the other party becomes the one seeking certainty, attempting to gauge his intent, trying to find the emotional hook that simply isn't there. This power is subtle. It's the manager who doesn't campaign for a promotion because his skill set is already essential, making his absence a greater threat than his presence. It's the entrepreneur who walks away from a bad deal because he has not emotionally invested his self-worth into its success. It is the man who does not escalate an insult because his ego is not attached to the immediate score settling. Machiavelli admired this restraint. He knew that the powerful man does not waste energy in unnecessary confrontations. The strong man saves his violence, his financial resources, and his emotional capital for the fights that truly matter. The unattached man conserves everything because he is not compelled by external pressures to spend it prematurely. His strategic isolation is often misinterpreted as arrogance or coldness, but it is in fact an intellectual advantage. Involvement generates noise. The deeper you are immersed in an emotional or political conflict, the less clearly you see the contours of the entire situation. Machiavelli often spoke about the need for a ruler to maintain a certain distance from his subjects and his counselors. This distance is not about physical separation. It is about emotional clarity. The strategically unattached man creates this space for himself. While others are reacting to immediate stimuli, gossip, offense, fleeting passions, he is observing the system. He is watching the patterns, identifying the true vectors of power, and mapping the vulnerabilities of every person involved. He understands that the world operates on systems, not sentiments. While his colleagues are focused on who is favored or who is slighted, he is tracking resource flow, documenting commitments, and analyzing strategic weaknesses. This quiet, persistent accumulation of data is the source of his dangerous nature. He knows the rules of the game better than the players themselves because he is not busy playing. He is busy calculating. This calculation is precise and often ruthless because it is entirely free of emotional distortion. There is no pity. no sentimentality, and no personal grudge influencing his decision-making. His actions are not driven by rage or affection, but purely by the logic of achieving a predetermined objective. Consider the consequences of this emotional insulation in the realm of conflict. When a man is attached, his enemies can always distract him. They can threaten something he loves or appeal to a value he holds dear, forcing him to divert resources to defense or compromise. But when the unattached man enters a conflict, he enters without hostages. His defense is minimal because his surface area for attack is small. He operates with a singularity of purpose that his opponents, burdened by their own attachments and emotional debts, cannot match. This is the definition of dangerous. An enemy who cannot be deflected, whose motives are purely strategic, and whose capacity for decisive, consequence-free action is total. He also possesses an unparalleled ability to wait. Patience is the ultimate weapon of the unattached man. The attached man is pressured by internal clocks, the urgency of his ego, the demand for immediate gratification, the need to resolve anxiety. The unattached man has all the time in the world. He recognizes that most conflicts resolve themselves through the exhaustion of the attached parties. He waits until his opponents have burned their energy, committed their reserves, and exposed their flanks through emotional overreach. Then, and only then, when the costs are low and the probability of success is near certain, does he move. Machiavelli would admire this man's approach to risk. For the unattached man, risk is a mathematical entity, a cost-benefit analysis. For the attached man, risk is intertwined with fear of loss, fear of failure, and fear of shame. When a man is unattached, he is able to put aside those fears and execute moves that others consider too extreme or too cold. He is capable of burning bridges because he was never planning on crossing back. He can cut ties because he never saw them as permanent necessities. This ruthlessness, guided not by cruelty, but by pure efficacy, makes him exceptionally formidable in any environment where soft emotions typically cloud hard decisions. Furthermore, his detachment grants him a remarkable ability to see people for what they are, rather than what he wants them to be. The attached man is often blinded by hope, projecting his own loyalty and virtue onto others. He surrounds himself with yes-men, sycophants, or those who validate his emotional needs. The unattached man, conversely, keeps his counsel limited and selects his allies purely on merit and utility. He understands that people are instruments to be used toward specific ends, and he assesses their utility without the bias of personal affection. This lack of illusion about human nature allows him to navigate betrayal and manipulation with minimal shock, because he fundamentally expects human behavior to be self-interested. He is never surprised when a trusted subordinate turns against him, because he has already calculated the probability of that event. This concept of detachment is not passive withdrawal. It is active cultivation of internal stability. It is the disciplined refusal to allow the external chaos, the insults, the politics, the emotional demands, to penetrate the inner sanctum of the self. The man who achieves this stability is dangerous because he is never forced to react defensively. He chooses his response only after deliberation, ensuring that every move he makes is offensive, strategic, and aimed at long-term dominance, not short-term emotional relief. He is the man who can walk away from a heated debate without the urge to have the last word. He is the man who can endure public criticism without immediately launching a counterattack. He is the man who can accept temporary defeat without internal collapse. This deep well of self-containment means he can absorb blows that would shatter the average man and use the momentum of his opponent's attack against them. He is the rock against which waves of petty conflict dissipate harmlessly. And it is this quiet, formidable resilience, rooted in profound self-possession, that truly defines him as a dangerous force. He is not a storm. He is the deep, dark ocean that swallows storms whole. But what happens when this strategically detached man finally chooses to act? What does the application of this absolute clarity look like in the real world? And what Machiavellian insights guide his final, calculated move? We must explore the moment the silence breaks, and the power built on isolation is finally unleashed. If the discussion of strategic detachment resonates with your own path to mastery, affirm that understanding right now. Type the phrase "silence is leverage" in the comments below, marking your commitment to strategic thinking over emotional reaction. We are committed to delivering the highest level of strategic insight available, so ensure you subscribe and hit the like button. Do not miss the opportunity to join this community dedicated to genuine strength. And understand this, in the final part, we will move past philosophy and explore the devastating efficacy of the unattached man's final, calculated move. We will dissect the strategic principles that transform observation into irreversible action, showing exactly why this man is not just feared, but fundamentally indispensable. Prepare yourself for the ultimate lesson in Machiavellian application. The final lesson of power, according to Niccolò Machiavelli, is not about what you acquire, but what you successfully refuse to hold. We have examined the anatomy of the unattached man, charting his ascent from conventional social architecture into a realm of pure strategic liberty. We have identified his profound lack of a tether, a lack of predictable obligation, and how this absence makes him an enigma to allies and a nightmare for enemies. But this is where the theory shifts into devastating reality. The unattached man, reaching the apex of his strategic existence, doesn't merely become dangerous. He becomes an engine of systemic disruption, a ghost in the machine of consensus, and a force whose true capabilities are obscured by the very air of his neutrality. To understand the ultimate danger, one must first recognize the structural reliance of all other powerful entities. The CEO is attached to the quarterly report. The politician is attached to the next election cycle. The family man is attached to his progeny and reputation. Every individual who strives for conventional power carries a visible, emotional, and financial payload, a weakness that must be defended. This payload dictates their actions, limits their risks, and provides their opposition with a clear, exploitable point of pressure. Everyone is predictable, because everyone has something to lose. But the unattached man has systematically dismantled his own vulnerability. He operates in a strategic vacuum. He cannot be leveraged by threats to his legacy, his comfort, or his attachments, because he has willingly forfeited the illusion of permanence that tethers other men. Machiavelli understood that the highest form of power is not found in control of the people, but in the control of consequence. While others calculate the cost of failure, the unattached man calculates only the potential gain of action, unburdened by the inertia of obligation. When every other player on the board is concerned with protecting their pieces, the unattached man is free to burn the board down to achieve the optimal outcome. This is the moment of definitive climax. This is where his unattachment transforms into lethal, focused efficacy. Think of the difference between the committed soldier and the mercenary. The soldier fights for his home, his flag, and his family. Beautiful, motivating attachments, but also potential vulnerabilities. The mercenary fights only for the objective and the payment. He does not stop to save a friend or mourn a loss. He moves with cold, surgical focus toward the goal. The unattached man is the ultimate mercenary of his own existence. His loyalty is reserved entirely for the pursuit of his chosen aim, and he possesses a clarity of vision that committed men can never achieve. Where others are paralyzed by the complexities of their interconnected lives, he sees only the straightest, most ruthless path forward. This terrifying simplicity is what makes him genuinely dangerous. And here is the crucial Machiavellian insight. The unattached man masters the art of selective involvement. He does not commit to a side until commitment becomes strategically necessary, and even then, his involvement is temporary and conditional. He becomes the ultimate swing vote, the necessary arbiter, the force that defines the outcome merely by withholding or granting his immense, unburdened capacity for action. While two attached rivals bleed themselves dry fighting over territory or influence, the unattached man stands silently on the periphery, conserving his resources, evaluating their exhaustion, and waiting for the precise moment when the victor is too weakened to resist his final, decisive intervention. This strategic neutrality confers upon him an invisibility cloaked in respect. No one truly knows his ultimate agenda, because his agenda is not written on the face of society. It is not anchored in a visible institution or a predictable ideology. Those who try to categorize him by his past actions fail, because the unattached man views the past only as a set of successful or unsuccessful experiments, not as a binding definition of self. He possesses the terrifying capability to pivot completely, to discard a reputation or an alliance instantly, because the maintenance of his own internal freedom supersedes any external expectation. This profound freedom allows him to commit acts of extreme decisiveness that would ruin a conventional man. A conventional prince must weigh the diplomatic fallout, the economic consequences, and the potential betrayal by his inner circle. The unattached man, having built his world outside of these structures, can simply execute the necessary action, be it cruel, benevolent, or utterly shocking, and then move forward, unencumbered by the lingering emotional, social, or reputational debt. He understands that temporary infamy is a small price for lasting strategic advantage. His ability to stomach actions that would incapacitate others is the defining element of his danger. Machiavelli cautions that a ruler must avoid being hated, but it is better to be feared than loved. The unattached man achieves a higher state. He is not necessarily hated, but he is fundamentally incomprehensible, and therefore respected out of deep uncertainty. People do not know how to hurt him because they do not know what he values. They fear his competence, not his temper. They respect his detachment, not his aggression. The moment a powerful entity recognizes that they cannot manipulate, threaten, or even appeal to the unattached man through conventional means, through family, fear of financial ruin, or social exclusion, they realize they are dealing with a force that operates on a different plane of existence. This is the moment they cease viewing him as a competitor and begin viewing him as a geological force, something that simply is and must be navigated around rather than confronted. The ultimate conclusion of Machiavelli's philosophy regarding this figure lies in his power over perception. The unattached man maintains his orbit through calculated ambiguity. He ensures that every move he makes contributes not to a clearer understanding of his motives but to a deeper mystery surrounding his commitment. He uses silence and distance as strategic weapons. While others rush to fill every void with words or commitments, he allows the vacuum of his non-attachment to draw attention and speculation. This speculation is power. As long as his rivals are expending energy trying to decipher his next move, they are not executing their own. They are trapped in the prison of their own anxiety, a prison he built merely by being absent. This freedom from emotional and social baggage allows him to execute long-term strategies with flawless patience. The attached man rushes to see results because he needs to justify his actions to his stakeholders, his spouse, or his conscience. The unattached man has eternity. He can wait years for the perfect alignment, knowing that his fundamental stability, his self-reliance, will outlast the temporary turmoil of his attached rivals. His patience is not passive. It is an active weapon, grinding down the resources and the emotional resilience of those who are racing against their own ticking clocks. The unattached man, therefore, is not defined by what he lacks but by the abundance of what he possesses: time, psychological fortitude, and uncompromised strategic maneuverability. He is the ultimate realization of Machiavellian advice: to possess the spirit of the fox and the strength of the lion, but without the lion's predictable territory or the fox's need for the den. He roams freely, applying the necessary tactic for the necessary situation, always optimizing for the most devastating yet efficient outcome. This brings us to the final, terrifying implication of this path. The unattached man, at his most dangerous, begins to influence the macro-level structure of society simply by existing outside of it. His success serves as a dangerous example to others. He demonstrates that the conventional rewards, the titles, the property, the accolades, are often traps designed to manage ambitious men. His quiet, devastating efficacy threatens the social contract itself, suggesting that true power resides in rejection, not assimilation. He is a living critique of the status quo, and his existence forces the system to spend resources trying to understand or contain him. He is dangerous because he cannot be coerced. He is dangerous because he is completely self-contained. He is dangerous because he has achieved the highest form of strategic freedom available to a human being: the ability to act without compromise, without debt, and without the need for external validation. He has become a true force of nature, driven by internal logic that is inaccessible and unpredictable to the world of attachment. This is why Machiavelli would study him, not as an outcast but as the master template for ultimate sustainable power, the power that arises not from what you have amassed, but from everything you have had the courage to shed. Before we conclude this monumental examination of strength and strategic detachment, I need to know where this message is resonating. Tell me now, In which city across the world are you currently engaging with these challenging Machiavellian concepts? Let me know your city. It helps define the global community we are building around real, unsanitized power. This journey has peeled back the layers of conventional wisdom regarding strength. We have moved past the cheap performance of aggression and the vulnerable comfort of attachment, arriving at the cold, hard logic of strategic independence. The unattached man is not lonely. He is liberated. He is not weak. He is invisible. He is not lost. He is calculating. Now, as you integrate this final, profound lesson, the realization that true power is found in strategic shedding, I want you to cement this understanding. Immediately drop into the comment section below and suggest a single powerful phrase, a maxim or an aphorism, that perfectly encapsulates the strategic advantage of detachment. Give me a phrase that defines the power of the unattached man. Your phrase will define the next great insight for this community. By contributing your maxim, you become an active part of this intellectual ascent, demonstrating your commitment to strategic mastery. And while you are doing that essential strategic work, take action right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Do not risk letting the algorithms decide your fate. Ensure you are always positioned to receive these critical Machiavellian insights immediately. Real strategic advantage comes from accessing knowledge before others even know it exists. Like this video to signal to the system and to me that you demand more of this deep-cut strategic content. Your active participation is the fuel for this entire movement. And finally, if you believe that the deepest truths about human nature and power remain hidden from the masses, prepare yourself. Because next time, we will confront the single most destructive miscalculation made by the man who thinks he is powerful, but has failed to master the very first rule of influence. We will expose the hidden flaw in nearly every conventional success story, the fatal error that Machiavelli identifies as the guaranteed path to spectacular ruin. You must not miss the next strategic briefing. Stay sharp. The game demands your unwavering attention.